we've got half-naked zombies.
Extreme body piercings.
Dodgy practical effects.
We've even got a discount Iron Man.
Is this a zombie disaster?
Or is this a forgotten horror classic?
Hiya guys, and welcome back. Today, we're doing something I didn't want to do. We're completing a franchise, almost. Just because we've reviewed the first two, right? We're not going to do the fourth one. This is about where we stop. Or the fifth. I didn't even know there was a fifth.
It is, rave to the grave.
This is where we stop, right? But we do have Brian Yuzna's Return of the Living Dead Part 3. So I watched this last night, ready to review today, right? So this was the first time I'd ever watched it. I have it on Blu-ray. I've had it for about 6 years. And last night I popped this cherry and opened up the cellophane, chucked the film on. And I did treat it like a bit of a chore. I'll be honest, I never wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
But you wanted to review it, and yeah, I thought it was a good idea. And my brain needs to be checked. Like, someone needs to study my brain, because my favourite movie of all time is The Thing, one of the classiest horror movies you can think of. And I bloody loved it. I had hell of a good time watching this one. And it's now on the same level as Street Trash for me. It's shit movies that I love. I'll go back and watch it again.
Right.
I had a hell of a good time with this film.
I swear to God, I didn't know you hadn't seen it before. I thought you just hadn't seen your copy of it. It's the first time you've seen it.
Never watched it.
Oh, because when you showed me that you got a copy and it was sealed, I thought you just owned it and never bothered to watch it, but you had seen it at some point.
Never watched it.
Right, now I understand your reluctance to watch it, because look, it's a piece of shit, okay? It is a piece of shit. Is it the first classic we've done that's a piece of shit? I can't remember.
Well, you don't like Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
It's not a piece of shit. Anyway, I stuck it on last night. I hadn't seen it for years. I watched it when it first came out on video. And look, it's not the worst film. It's not street trash. But
I'll admit it's not. It is better than Street Trash.
It's not a very good film. The only thing I would say about it is it tried to do something different than the other two. So Return of the Living Dead 1 and Part 2 are very much the same sort of premise. Zombies take over town. This one was a little bit different. But we'll go through it now bit by bit. But I'm not a fan of this. It was a bit of a chore, to be honest. Even though I told you to watch it.
I was clapping the lot.
Like those American cinemas, like, woo!
Yeah. At one point, right, I jumped up in the air and I stopped mid-air.
Yeah, I heard this. They had to call a scientist, apparently, to get you down.
They had to call a scientist.
That's from I nicked that from Family Guy. You can. I think someone in the comments would probably say he jumps as a freeze frame and goes, "Quick, call a scientist! I can't get down."
Yeah.
Right. Shall we start with the film, then? Okay. So we'll start with the couple. Okay. And it's Kurt and Julie. And they're like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of couple. They got a motorbike. She's a bit of a goth, and he's a bit of a rebel. He's lost his mother, and he didn't get on with his military dad. And they sneak in to witness what his dad does for a living. He works in like a lab for the
military-based lab thing. Like.
Yeah, and they've got the what's it called? The trioxin. What's the number? 125. Oh, do you know, I love this film. I got a T-shirt and everything. Anyway, you got the zombie juice, the zombie gas, and it brings back a zombie, and she gets killed, and he brings her back, and she's slowly becoming a zombie. That's basically it. And then they're on the run from the army. And one bit I'll say, right, is that I don't know if you noticed, they're on the run from the army, and they end up in this convenience shop, like a corner shop.
Yeah.
And they have the world's oldest naughty teenagers in there playing the arcade machine. I mean, you know what I'm on about?
The Mexican gangsters.
Playing arcade and they're like naughty. The guy's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
70. It's so ridiculous.
Because it is childlike as well, because there's a girl with them and she's like pissed off that they're still playing this game.
Yeah.
And she says something and one of them turns and goes, "If we had left when you wanted us to, we wouldn't have got to level 7. It's like,
honestly,
but
it's not.
We're supposed to take these guys seriously as like the villains of the movie because they're chasing them throughout the film. But that's the opening scene we get with these guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And like, it's not like a case of they're meant to be 19 and they're 25. The guy's bald and he's old. It's so ridiculous. But there's one bit when Julie gets killed, she gets hit, goes flying off the bike, breaks her spine on a tree or a lamppost.
Yeah.
And he has to get her back into the army base. And it just reminded me a little bit of like Weekend at Bernie's when she's on the back of the motorbike. And he's like, "Can I go through and see my dad?" Yeah. And she's like,
I know.
Strings.
Who's pulling the strings? She's moving like.
Yeah. But
no, do you know what? They're quite likable characters. They're probably the best thing about the film.
Yes.
Kurt is a good character. He looks a lot like Edward Furlong.
Yeah. Not now though.
No.
Not Edward Furlong.
Well,
no.
Who knows what he looks like now? But yes, Edward Furlong, T2 days, you know.
Yeah.
And Julie as well. I thought she was a good antagonist. She plays a good zombie when she starts turning. My only problem with these two, right, is I would have ditched her long time ago. The shit that he puts up with in this film, right, and the shit he pushes to the side. There's literally a bit, right, where he witnesses her, right, eating someone's brain. And then the next scene after that, right, they're sitting down cuddling and he's promising her the world. We'll go to Seattle, we'll do this and that. It's like, mate, what planet are you living on? Like, she just ate brains, like. There's no coming back from this.
Yeah, there's loads of brains in Seattle. Come on, we can go there.
It's like that episode of South Park in it where they're trying to get the homeless away. It's like the Dawn of the Dead one.
Night of the Living Homeless. Yeah.
There's plenty of change, like.
Yes, you're right. Their relationship is the best thing about it. And that's why this film feels very different. And I'll take my hat off to it. It tried something different. It didn't just have another zombie attack.
And not only tried something different, I reckon, right, and this film does have a lot of problems, right? I'll admit that.
No shit.
A lot of problems. But if I was an executive of a company and someone pitched me the story idea for Return of the Living Dead Part 3, you would jump on it. It's a great story. It's different from the first two. The only thing it does do is it does change the law a little bit. People turn into zombies after getting bit. I know the first one, at least, is just the gas that turns them into the zombies. It does change the law a little bit. I know that when Brian Yuzna signed on to direct it, the only thing the execs wanted, he said, the only thing you need to have is the zombies need to crave brains. Do whatever you want with it.
Is it?
And that's all he had to keep. But I think, apart from its shoddy effects, at times, it's a solid sequel.
Wait, it's a solid piece of shit, okay? No, it's not a piece of shit. Should we talk about the actual zombies and practical effects, is there?
Yeah, of course. Do you want me to open this one up?
Yes, go.
So, I'll open up with the first zombie that we see in the film, right? So, when Julie and Kurt break into the military scientist base, the first zombie they come in contact with, who they basically get to see what's going on in there, and they tie him up. First of all, the outfit choice, the Borat strip thing. Where did that come from?
Yes.
Why does he have to be dressed like that? I just want to know how bad the jockstrap smells.
Yeah, I was thinking.
And how much does that zombie look like Tom Matthews?
Tom Matthews, as in Tom Matthews from
the original
Friday the 13th.
And the original.
Oh, yeah, of course, he's in the original.
Yeah. Joey.
I couldn't see it.
No, I could. Well, I was convinced it was him, right? And I Googled it. Turns out that is a homeless guy from the street.
Really?
The guy was homeless, right? And they even put him up in a hotel because they were worried if they left him on the streets. They were like, where's he gone? We can't find him. So they put him up in a hotel and he demanded to arrive on set in a limo every day.
Fucking hell. I don't think this film's got the budget for a limo.
He sounds like a hard piece of work, doesn't he?
Right. I'll say one thing about this guy, right? So I thought he's the best zombie in it. He looked really good.
He looks good, yeah.
He looked really good, and he had good eye contacts in. The only thing is, right, and if you can put a clip, when you put a clip up, okay, when he comes back from the dead, when he's chained up and they put the gas on him, when he's moaning, he sounds exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, I swear to God, I was laughing, thought, oh my God, that is literally Arnie, completely the same.
I think I did a few Arnie noises last night when I was watching it, to be fair. Maybe I subconsciously heard it as well. I think when one of the scientists gets thrown as he was flying through the air, I was like,
come on. Come on. Do you know, right, as well, this is the bullshit of this film, okay? Okay, I accept they changed the law that you can get bitten, which is bugged me a little bit, but okay, whatever. But what bugged me even more, so they bring in the naked guy, they bring him back from the dead with the gas, and then his flatline goes beep, beep, beep. It's like, well, he's dead. He's a zombie. Shouldn't have a heartbeat.
Shouldn't have a pulse,
right?
Yeah.
And then when she becomes a zombie, she goes, I can't feel my heart. It's like, what the fuck is the same film? You've changed it twice.
Jenks, that isn't the worst part of the film, though. I can forgive that. Do you know what I can't forgive, right? But again, this is what makes the movie that I enjoyed last night, right? It's the charm of the movie. But there's a scene, right, where after the shopkeeper gets shot by the Mexican gangbangers.
Yeah.
I was calling them gangsters. They're not gangsters. They're kids.
Yeah.
And he's in the back of Kurt's van, right? And he's like, let me out. I want to get out. So he opens the back door to the van and the cops are like shooting. And he's like, stop, please stop shooting. And he gets shot in the head, right? But the initial shot, you see stuff come out of the back of his head, but you don't see anything off the top blow up in it.
Yeah.
Then when it cuts to him lying on the floor, his top of his head's gone and his brain's all exposed. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. But then when it cuts back to him again, his head's back. How can you forget that?
It's ridiculous.
But that aside, right, there are some really great practical effects in this movie. It is a bit shoddy, but Santos, one of the gangbangers, when his spine's out, when he gets his head ripped out, I thought that looked great. His face is a bit shoddy, but the effect was quite cool. Yeah. There are some great moments in this movie, specifically when Julie jumps off the bridge and you can see the rope on her. I was clapping the guy last night.
Shall we talk about Julie then, when the transformation?
Yes, let's do it. Yeah, it's such a good transformation.
So in this story, for her to sort of like she's starving for brains, and the only way to stop the hunger is either get brains, live brains, or to pierce herself to feel pain. Even though she said she was numb in the first scene, but there we are.
There we are.
She did say, I'm so numb, but I can feel pain. Anyway, so she starts sticking horrible stuff in her, and then she ends up being this beast, like this. And that's quite good practical effects. It's in her face.
Oh, it's so good, yeah.
Her tits are out.
It's when she's like pushing like the glass through the bottom of her palm. I proper wince in some of those moments. And like you've got the like springs, and she's like turning around. Oh, it's horrible.
And do you know what's worse? She found those springs in that homeless guy's house.
Riverman.
Riverman. You're thinking, that's not sanitized, is it?
Oh,
that's going to give her. That's definitely going to give her tetanus.
I don't think, right, the state her body's in can get any worse. Like, I got to get a tetanus jab. Can you imagine a zombie getting a tetanus jab? I got an infection in my hand.
Yeah, you should. Oh, is it spring? Is it? Didn't have a. Yeah, you should have put an antibacterial. Yeah.
But yes, her transformation is great. And what's great about it is you get that little montage of her putting stuff in her. Yeah. But then you get the reveal then when the gangsters turn up at Riverman's house, his house
in the
sewers.
the homeless guy's house.
I've got to say, I do like what he did with it. I think with the space that he had, he made something special.
Yeah, he had like
Um,
electricity and everything,
But
didn't he?
you've got that great bit though with the door open and she's standing there. For some reason, she's exposed her breasts, like she's cut holes in her top and her
Yeah,
breasts
no
are
need
out.
of that. It's just sexual.
No. I think that was a director's choice on
Yeah.
set. Do you know
Dirty
what?
man like that.
Yeah, let's get rid of that top. Like, but yeah, I think that her transformation. Obviously, it's the iconic cover. I think at least one thing this film has is it's got an iconic cover that people love.
Yes.
You finally get that moment where she turns into the monster. Unfortunately for me, is I thought she was just gonna go all out. Then she was gonna turn into a monster. She still kind of keeps her morality, but then obviously she's still protecting Kurt, and there's still some humanity in her. Whereas I wanted her to turn into a full beast in that moment. As soon as that door opens and she's there with all the piercings, I wanted full on beast mode.
Should we talk about the sort of finale? So the finale set back in the sort of army base, and they're using like sort of they want to use zombies as soldiers, and they got like ectoskeletons over them to control them. Nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then some of the other zombies get freed from their containers, and they're a bit naff. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's Kurt again. The film finishes. So there's two finales. There's the finale in Riverman's house. You think that's the end. Kurt gets saved by his father. Julie gets euthanized with that ice freezing gun. And then you think it's over, but no, we go back to the base, and for some reason, after everything Kurt has done, he's let to walk around the base freely again.
Yeah, I know, it's
he
ridiculous.
bumps into Julie, and she's all chained up, and she looks quite human.
Yeah.
Scared, cold, and curled up, and he lets her out, and all hell breaks loose again.
Yeah, it's
You trusted that guy twice in that base, right? And he does it again. But yes, the two finales I find are great, right? It gave me everything I wanted. You've got the gore, you've got the violence, the all-out action. But then, yeah, in the actual finale then at the end, there are some naff zombies, like big heads and like...
Big heads.
Big
like
heads,
that.
man.
And I suppose
and the stretched skin...
And I suppose they're trying to suggest that they've been in a canister for years, so they would be all.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously, Tarman's quite handsome, isn't he? He's all tall.
He's all tall.
I suppose they would be melted more, but they look, and there's a lot of quick cuts of them because you could tell the effects weren't very good, and when they're walking down the corridor.
Yeah, definitely.
What I noticed as well, right? So that army base can afford every door to be like a Star Trek door, like all the time. And they've got the slowest, cheapest crap guns ever. They have to load, they have to plug it in to a power source.
Terrible guns. Surely they come up with something better.
Well, it's only a dart. Just have a normal dart in the head. It's ridiculous. And why in the head? Because these zombies, if you chop them up, their limbs work. So which part of the arm do you have to shoot it in for it to stop moving?
Yeah, of course, because obviously when Riverman is there as like, he looks like Iron Man and he's got that suit on, and yeah, of course, like they shoot that off and that arm's still moving. So yeah, of course,
if
it makes no sense.
Saying like it gets in the brain and it stops the body. It's like, yeah, but his arm's over there. It's still going.
His arm's still like
stupid. Basically, what I'm saying, this film is shit.
Right, what I want you to do, Jenks, before we finish this up, we'll both have one each. I just want you to summarise the movie of what you think of this film.
Shit.
That's it.
Yes, shit.
Right, overall, right, like we've spoke about on the podcast, it's got loads of problems, right? It's got so many plot holes, there's so many shoddy effects, but I had a bloody good time watching this film. I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to go back and watch it again because it's just fun. Yeah. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the story, and I like Brian Yuzna. I'm a huge fan of Society and Reanimator, Bride of Reanimator. Yeah. But there's one thing I want to finish this on, Jenks. I just want a moment of silence for Riverman. The best character in the movie, and he didn't deserve what he got. He took Kurt and Julie in, protected them, brought them into their home. So can we just have a moment of silence for Riverman, please?
Yes.
There we are.
Right, guys, if you love horror, if you love reviews, rankings, please subscribe, and we catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.